Are you ready to die to self in marriage? If not, it might not be the time to marry. We know that the Lord Jesus Christ says, if any man is to come after me, he must first deny himself, take up his cross daily, and follow me. We know that from the book of Luke. And in likewise fashion, when we begin to see the correlation between Christ and the bride being his church, we also come to understand that true biblical marriage is not a means of just living lavishly and getting all our wants and this person serving us. No, it's actually dying to self. And when we die to self each day, what this looks like within marriage is a willingness to prioritize the other person. Now, some of us want marriage simply for the sex or for just having someone to do life with or for just building memories with the person or for getting certain needs met. Maybe we're not a good cook and we're like, man, I can't wait to have this person be able to cook for me, right? Whatever it is that we're feeling within, we need to come to understand it's not about all that. Those are add-ons, pluses, and just a natural part of marriage to be able to get needs met and the like, but it ultimately comes down to dying to self. And marriage is a wonderful sanctifying tool. It's a means of changing both the other person and us through a relationship and exemplifying Christ everywhere we go, to have a solid unit and foundation. Because when we get married, spiritual warfare in our lives increases 100-fold very easily. So we need to be on guard and we need to make sure that we are prioritizing God and understand that a biblical marriage is dying to self, because that's the faith. The faith is not about us, but it's about the glory of God. And if we're not dying to self with God, how in the world are we going to die to self when it comes to being married? How we treat God is how we're going to treat our spouse. And if we're not doing the things that God is calling us to currently, just us and him, then how in the world do we think that we're going to get married and then that person is going to, help us do those things? Yes, they're going to be a help to a certain degree, but our dependency should not be on them. No siree. We're rhyming over here because it's true, right? We want to make sure that God is at the forefront, that we are humbling ourselves before God because God exalts the humble. We're not doing it to be exalted, but we understand that the way of the faith before God and before man is humility. It's humility. That is who God gives favor, makes man to have favor before God and before man. It's those who are humble in spirit, who prioritize God in all things. So you need to begin to ask yourself, I want to be married, I want to have someone, but if you're not ready to die to self and to go through certain things insofar as not being able to do what you want to do at certain points, right? Not living for yourself anymore insofar as on your schedule, but now you've got someone else you've got to be concerned about, right? If you're not ready for all of this, it might not be time yet to marry. Really go to God, reflect on all these things, because these are things that really need to be understood. Because if you don't understand this now and you rush into marriage, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to come in with realistic expectations. You're going to set yourself up for a lot of problems and struggles on top of the spiritual warfare. And the end is just not going to be good. There's going to need to be a lot of extracurricular help along the way. But whenever we go into something with a realistic understanding of what something actually is, we're going to be prepared for the tough times, for the times where it gets a little difficult and the like. We're going to be ready. So ask yourself, don't ask the question, are you ready to be married? Ask the question, am I ready to die to self when I become married?